白雲の章、大樹の説、三つの学級。小熊山脈から吹き下ろす冷たい風が弱まると、フォドラの大地は豊かな緑を芽吹かせ、一年の始まりを告げる。やがてその緑が大樹へとなるように、人々は自らの生が実り多きものとなるのを祈って年始を祝うのである。遥か太古よりありし地フォドラ。天上より女神の見守ると言われるその大地は三つの勢力によって統治されていた。1000年以上の歴史を持ち、フォドラの南半分を支配するアドラステア帝国。その帝国の北側、寒冷な大地を王と騎士たちが治めるファーガス神聖王国。そして大陸の東側で王をいただかず有力貴族による共同体をなすレスター諸侯同盟領。かつては戦乱の嵐が吹き荒れた大地も、今は三勢力の均衡により平穏が保たれていた。
では修道院は初めてか。よければ後で案内しよう。
このフォドラの縮図のような場所さ。いろんな意味でね。
もうすぐ嫌でも目に入るわ。あれがガルグマク大修道院よ。
様。
時のよすがに手繰り寄せられたのでしょうか。
ここに来るのも何年ぶりかね。今さらあの人と顔を合わせたところで。
Her.
ああ、お前もさっき中庭で見たろ。大司教レア様さ。
The archbishop?
お前も知っての通り、このフォドラの住人の大半はセイロス教の敬虔な信徒だ。そんなバカでかい教団の最高指導者が大司教であるレア様ってわけよ。
お待たせしました、ジェラルトさん。大司教の補佐をしているセテスと申します。
He is voiced by Takehito Koyasu, who also voiced Jade Cartus from Tales of the Abyss and Rei Himuro from Tokimeki Memorial Girls' Side, which is particularly hilarious to me because he was a professor in that last one too, and now he's a professor here. And if you play as a female pilot, he actually is a romance option. Again. I just find that particularly hilarious.
ああ、どうも。
久しいですね、ジェラルト。こうして再び開校できたのも主のおぼし召しでしょうか。
長きにわたる音信不通お詫びします。あれから俺もいろいろありましてね。
そしてその子が生まれた。あなたの子供なのでしょ。
ええ、修道院を出て数年後に母親は病で死んじまいましたがね。
そうですか。活躍はアロイスから聞いています。あなたの名は確か。
My name is...
そう、良い名前ですね。
Indeed, my name being Audible Silence is quite a fine name indeed, I must say myself.
士官学校の生徒たちを救ってくれたこと、心より感謝します。ジェラルト、私が何を言いたいか、あなたならすでに分かっていますね。
セイロス騎士団に戻れでしょ。俺は構いませんけど、こいつは
ジェラルト、アロイスから聞いているはずです。私は一度下がりますが、この後彼らから話があるでしょう。しっかりと耳を傾けておいてください。それではまた明日に。
やれやれ、またセイロス騎士団に戻ることになっちまった。
Well, you could have said no. You weren't forced at knife point to say yes.
巻き込んじまってすまねえが、お前もしばらくはここで働いてくれるか。
I must work here? As a mercenary?
いや、それが教師としてだそうだ。この修道院に士官学校が併設されてる話はさっきのガキどもから聞いたよな。で、ちょうど学級担任の教師が一人欠けちまったとかで、アロイスの野郎、レア様にお前のことを推薦したらしい。
こんにちは。あなたが新任の先生？渋くてなかなかイケてるじゃない。
ああ、いや、俺じゃねえんだ。あとは適当にやってくれ。じゃあな。レア様には気をつけろよ。お前を教師にする意図が読めん。何かを企んでるかもしれね
え。まさかあなたなの？ずいぶん若く見えるけど。
I can assure you I'm still very stern and handsome. So, please repeat those compliments to me.
何？教師の資質さえあれば年齢は関係あるまい。我が輩はハンネマン、紋章学者であり、この士官学校の教師でもある。君は紋章を宿しているかね？一度我が輩の部屋に来て調べたまえ。
We do have a crest, but I don't think it activated during the first battle.
私はマヌエラ、教師兼医師兼歌姫よ。よろしくね。
You're a songstress?
ここに来る前はね、歌劇団にいたの。聞いたことないかしら？ミッテルフランク歌劇団の美しい。
不必要な長話は後にしたまえ、マヌエラ君。さて、君も一つ学級を受け持つことになるわけだが、まだどんな学級があるのか紹介さえされていないだろう。
そういうことなら私から説明させてもらおうかしら。士官学校には3つの学級があって、出身国ごとに所属が分かれているの。まずはアドラークラスでね。アドラステア帝国出身の子たちがいて、今年の級長はなんと次期皇帝と噂される皇女のエーデルガルトよ。
次にルーベンクラスへ。ファーガス神聖王国から来た者が所属する。今年の級長は王子のディミトリ。彼もファーガスの次の王になるだろう。
最後にヒルシュクラッセ。ここにはレスター諸侯同盟領の子が属しているわ。宮長は諸侯同盟の名手であるリーガン公の孫クロード。
時代の皇帝、国王、名士が揃い踏みとはなかなかとんでもない年になりそうだな。
本当にね。厄介事だけはごめんだけれど。
今日のところは校内でも見て回るといい。我が輩の部屋にも立ち寄ってくれたまえ。
あ、そうそう。あなたが教師になることは宮長以外にはまだ伝えていないから。生徒たちと話をしてみたらいいわ。癖のある子が多いけれどいい子たちよ。詳しい話は明日レア様からあるはずだから。それじゃまたね。
レア、考えを改める気はないか。あんな若者を士官学校の教師にするなど。
いいえ、もう決めたことです。それに心配しないでください、セテス。あの者はジェラルトの子供なのですから。
そのジェラルトとやらも信用できない。21年前の大火の折に失踪した男だろう。今はフレンもいるのだ。不安の種を増やすのは控えてもらいたい。
セテス、彼らは大丈夫です。それよりもシャミアから報告があった不審者の件が気になります。教会に悪意を持つ者がこのガルグマクに出入りしているのなら捨ておけません。
ああ、その件もあったな。引き続き調査を進めさせよう。レア、今は君の言葉を信じるが、何か怪しげな点があったその時は。
While exploring the monastery, right stick to move the camera, plus minus buttons to zoom in and out, and BY holding to dash. If you are ever unsure what to do next, look to the left side of the screen. Your current objectives will be displayed there.
あなたが士官学校の教師となることはもうすでに聞き及んでいますね。
So I have heard. Not that I have been asked if I am okay with that. But I have no emotions, so I probably would be okay with that.
まずは3つの学級の級長たちと話をしたり、士官学校を見て回ったりしてみてください。大修道院でのあなたの最初の務めです。この務めが終わったら私のところに戻ってきてくださいね。願いを聞いてくれますか？
Speak to the 3 house leaders and gather information about the students in each house. The students can be found in the reception hall on the first floor and throughout the officers' academy. And I get an iron sword for that, a vulnerary, and money. You should speak with every student you can. This might be your only chance to see what they are really like before you become a professor. From what I've seen, the students don't change much between how they treat you before they know and after you know you're the professor. Quests are tasks given to you by people around the monastery. Those who can give or are involved with quests will have icons by them. Consult the quests menu to see the quests you have accepted. The icons beside each quest indicate their status. Icons for essential quests are red. So, you do eventually get fast travel for the monastery, but I'm gonna try to not use much of it because I do want to get more familiarized with the setup of the monastery.
貴殿をいきなり教師に3人目の担任に推薦して驚かせたか？実を言うと担任になるはずだった教師が例の盗賊騒ぎの際に逃げてしまったのだ。一度でも生徒を見捨てた者に再び任せるわけにはいかぬゆえな。
君は行きずりの生徒たちを助けた。その点ではまだ評価できる。さあ、修道院内を回って皆に挨拶してくるといい。
The minimap in the upper right corner of the screen shows your current location, the locations of important people, the direction to quest givers, and more. Zoom or change the map view with the ZR button. I'm gonna do this so that I can see a bit more of the map. Yeah. Over there is Edelgard. Oh, hang on. The first time you enter these areas, you always get these, and they are a bit distracting, even when you first go into the area. And all these people spawned! So, there is Edelgard. I am not going to talk to her yet. I want to meet all the other students first, and then we're gonna talk to the house leaders.
新しい先生ですね。お疲れ様です。私はここ大修道院を出入りする人をのんびり眺める役じゃなかった。厳しく見張る役を仰せつかっております。
Oh, can't go over there yet. There it's Claude.
ここヒルシュクラッセはレスター諸侯同盟寮出身の生徒が在籍する学級だ。級長は名手リーガン家の嫡子クロード。他にも有力貴族の子息が集まっている。
ねえねえ、そういうもしかして例の傭兵さん？今あなたの噂で持ちきりですよ。ヒルダ・バレンティン・ゴネリルです。で、こっちの子がマリアンヌ・フォン・エドマンドです。もしかして騎士団に入るとかですか？これからよろしくお願いしますね。
おい、君が噂の傭兵か。確かクロードを助けてくれたとか。余計なこと。僕はローレンツ・ヘルマン・グロスタール。覚えておいてくれたまえ。
あんたキ
客人か？食堂を探してんならあっちだぞ。
バカ、違うよ。ジェラルト師匠の子供なんだろ。レオニー・ピネッリ、師匠の一番弟子だ。師匠は私のこと覚えてるかな。
I didn't even know my father was a captain until a few days ago of the Knights of Seiros, so you really think he would have mentioned you to me?
俺はラファエル・キルステンだ。あんた結局誰なんだ？
You are a nameless student, so I don't care about talking to you. There.
あなたがクロードを助けたというやり手の傭兵さんですか？
え、そうなんですか？お会いできて光栄です。僕はイグナーツ・ビクターです。親は同盟寮で商売をしています。
私はリシティア・フォン・コーデリア。お見知りおきくださいね。
So onward to
私たちルーベンクラッセの教室、宮長のディミトリ王子をはじめとしてファーガス神聖王国出身の生徒たちが集まっています。
a blue lion and so many students being spotted.
よ、あんたがうちの大将を助けてくれた腕利きの傭兵ってやつかい？俺はシルヴァン・ジョゼ・ゴーティエ。これからも気楽に話しかけてくれよな。おい。
話はディミトリ殿下から聞きました。ファーガスの民の一人として感謝します。
腕が立つとも聞いている。奴がそういうのなら確かなのだろう。ぜひ打ち負かしてみたいものだ。お前と剣を交える日を楽しみにしている。
フェリックス、あなたは昔から何かあればすぐ戦うことばかり。私はイングリッドです。これからどうぞよろしくお願いします。あらあら、初めて見る顔だわ。あなた大修道院の方かしら。
She already figured it out!
メイチェ、もしかしてこの人が噂の傭兵さんじゃない？ああ、確かにディミトリがそんなことを言っていたような気も。ならもしかして士官学校に入学するなんてこともあるのかしらね。私はメルセデスよ。よろしくね。こっちは私の親友のメイチェ。メルセデスの友達のアネットです。これからよろしくね。
はじめまして。あなたが噂の？僕はアッシュ。よろしくお願いします。それからこっちがディミトリ様の従者のドゥドゥです。
殿下を救ってくれたそうだな。感謝の言葉もない。
You are very most welcome.
この恩は返す。何かあれば力になろう。
And further on, the lackey
ここは我
course.
々アドラークラッセの教室さ。アドラステア帝国出身の者が集まっている。宮長は公女エーデルガルト。その他にも多くの貴族指定が所属しているよ。
すみません。
感謝しますよ。私はヒューベルト。エーデルガルト様の従者を務めております。
And he's voiced by Katsuyuki Konishi, which I have to say, when I first played the game, I was wondering his voice sounded familiar, but I couldn't place it. And then I looked it up, and wow, it was Konishi, the guy that voices Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia, and he voices Ren Tsuruga in Skip Beat. So, I have heard him with a high voice as Lloyd, with a decently deep voice as Ren, and now here, Hubert with a very deep voice.
我が主を救ってくれたと聞きました。感謝しましょう。おっと、 こちらはブリギット諸島より帝国へと学びに来ているペトラ殿です。何を隠そう、彼女はブリギットの姫、フォドラ風に言えば王女殿下ですな。
ペトラ言います。はじめまして。よろしく願います。
She has a funny talky thing in her English lines, which I suppose is fair enough to convey the point that she's from a different country, so she doesn't quite know how to speak the Fordland language, I suppose.
あんたエーデルガルトを助けたんだって？すげえじゃねえか。あ、俺はカスパルってんだ。よろしくな。
僕はリンハルト。じゃ。
おい、リンハルト、そりゃねえだろ。もう。あんたもここの生徒になるのか？俺たちの学級だといいな。
ねえ。あら、素敵な人ね。修道院は初めて？案内しましょうか？
Certainly.
あ、私はドロテアっていうの。学校に入る前は帝国の歌劇団にいたのよ。
なんですか？知らない人と話すことはありません。
ベルナデッタ、この人は我らが宮長の恩人らしい。そうなのだろ？私はフェルディナント・フォン・エーギル、帝国の重鎮、誇り高きエーギル家の嫡子さ。
I am very glad that he mentioned that he is the legitimate son of the family. Oh, given that these are all nobles for the most part, I'm sure being legitimate is actually very important to them.
君も、もしこの学級に加わることがあれば、よろしく頼むよ。
Hubert's so cute. I love broody boys. He's not even broody, he's just quiet a lot. So, we have Dimitri, Claude, and Edelgard. And why am I... It feels like I'm running really slowly. Either way, now that we have met the students, we need to talk to the house leaders.
あんた教師として雇われるんだって？随分と腕を買われたもんだな。じゃあ改めて自己紹介しておくか。俺はクロード・フォン・リーガンだ。実家はレスター諸侯同盟の名手だが、まあそんなことは気にしなくていいさ。担当学級はまだ決まってないのか？俺らんとこは他より気楽でいいと思うぜ。ヒルシュクラッセの連中にはもう会えたよな。興味を惹かれるようなやつはいたか？
If you say yes to them, then you can actually see information about each of the students in that house and what their strengths are in terms of skill and what their weaknesses are. So, I'm going to reveal it now. My first playthrough I was playing the Golden Deer route, so I am rather well acquainted with these characters.
俺に興味があるのか。奇遇だな。俺もあんたに興味があるんだ。
Oh, so you say that to the male and female Byleth, I see.
ま、これから最低1年は一緒に過ごすし、少しずつ正体を明かし合おうじゃないの。
So you can see the parameters, you can see them being either a noble or a commoner. I don't think that makes much of a difference. It's a class to master, and if you master it, you get HP plus 5 as an ability to equip, so noble and commoner makes no difference here. Defining ability multiplies experience earned by 1.2. That is an ability that all the house leaders share. It's just either Leicester lineage or the other kingdom or empire's words. You know, called differently, does the same thing. You see here his strengths, it's in flying and bow and authority and sword. He's weak when it comes to faith, so white magic and lances. Personally, I had him focusing on bow for the most part because that's what he came with as his default weapon, so to speak. And he ended up being a bow flying class. and he was actually really good there. So I would often say he was the MVP of several battles down the line, simply because being flying and bow meant he had more of a range. He could easily go to other places and he could attack from afar. He also can get an ability that means he can learn close counters, so even if an enemy right next to him attacks him and he has a bow equipped, he can still attack in return, which he couldn't do and can't do right now because he doesn't have that ability.
あいつはグロスタール伯爵家の嫡なんでね。見ての通り女好きの気取った野郎さ。とはいえ根は真面目と言えなくもなくは。いつも貴族の責務がどうたらと言ってるよ。
So, defining ability, unit deals 2 extra damage while in formation with the battalion. Hang on, can I... Oh, nope, sorry. Not what I meant to do, but I forgot what swap display does in this menu. I believe this means that if he has a battalion assigned to him, which you unlock battalions later on, he always deals 2 extra damage, or only deals extra damage while using the battalion? I'm not entirely sure. I didn't really pay much attention to the defining abilities of the characters after a while. His strength is in riding, lance, and reason, which is dark magic, and he's weak when it comes to punching. That's totally fine. For me, I had him focus on lance and riding and only really did much with him in terms of black magic later on. He was overall okay. I felt like he didn't do so well later on, but that might be because he kept being attacked by people wielding axes, and from what I've seen, lances don't do as much damage to axes as other weapons might be. So, he's a good character. If you have him become a Dark Knight later on, which is lance and riding and dark magic all at once, which is all of his strength, he's good. He ends up a bit more versatile because the magic can be done from afar, so has a bit more range than if he were just lance and riding. Also, Lawrence does lances. I find that a bit funny.
あいつは商人の息子なんだが、両親を事故で亡くしちまって、いろいろ大変らしい。本人は至って元気だけどな。飯を食うことと体を鍛えることしか考えてないと思うぜ。
Raphael is a brute, and I mean that in terms of pure fighting strength. His strengths are as an axe, brawl, and heavy armory. For a while I had him learn brawl and axe, but I realized I was using axe less and less with him, so I just made him a brawler, and he was really good. He was pretty good, but as with Lawrence and the lance against axes, he didn't seem to be that helpful against that type of enemy weapon type further in the game. Never really did much with heavy armor for him, but that's because I made him classes that were basically just brawl, so I didn't really need heavy armor with him. Weaknesses are in bow, riding, magic. That's fine, he's not very intelligent. So, defining ability Goodie Basket, chance to recover up to 10% of max HP at the start of each turn. Trigger percentage is his luck stat. Does remind me that he always did that, but as a brawler he also eventually learned a combat ability called Healing Focus, where he healed himself, usually for like 30 HP if I used that. Very helpful. He can sustain himself as a brawler.
確か商家の次男坊だったかな、あいつは。兄が後を継ぐから自分は騎士になるとさ。ま、本心から騎士になりたいようには見えないけどな。どうせ親の意向だろう。
Ignaz's defining ability is Watchful Eye, meaning grants hit plus 20, and his strength is in bows, authority, and sword, and he's very weak with flying. he is an example of a character that starts off really weak, but if you manage to keep him alive and train him up a bit, he ends up great. I had him focus on nothing but bow, and he was basically my second bow master compared to Claude being the first one, because since he was only bow, he had less mobility than Claude on the flying class. But he was really good. It took me a while, and I had to do some battles early on again because I had to make sure that Ignatz actually survives. But once you get past that and you can actually put him into the bow essential classes, he's really good.
Listea はコーデリア伯の娘で、多分今年の生徒の中じゃ最年少だろうな。ただし、子供扱いすると怒るから注意しろよ。俺はあえて子供扱いするか。面白いだろ。
Lissa Sia is awesome. That is the only way I can describe her. Defining ability is Mastermind, double skill experience earned in battle, so she ends up gaining more levels in skill faster because she gets more experience. As you can see from her parameters, she's really not someone who can do physical fighting. She can't use any good weapon. She is a mage pure and supple. She has strengths in black and white magic and authority, so she can do magic of both types, and she can deal with battalions just fine. But she's not good with physical stuff. I have to say, I had her focusing on black magic for a long time, then did a bit more with white magic for her because I wanted her to be able to heal herself or others if they were nearby. And she ended up focusing on both types of magic. She was awesome. She was my MVP in many late game battles. Simply because as I increased her classes in terms of magic and mastered them, she ended up getting skills that allowed her to use black magic with extra range. So her HP is usually pretty low. And so I was able to keep her away from the enemies and still attack, and she did so much damage. She is awesome. I can't say I'm glad that I used Golden Deer, but I am so glad that the Golden Deer has her because she is just an amazing character. If I can manage to recruit other students to my class in this playthrough, I would absolutely love to have her. Unless the students in the house that I am picking end up being just as good in terms of magic as she can be.
Marianne はエドマンド辺境伯の娘ってくらいしか知らないんだよな。あいつ他の生徒と関わりたがらないから、声すら聞いたことないやつも多いだろうぜ。
Marianne is a bit similar to Lissa Sia in terms of not being great at physical fighting, but she's also not as amazing in magic as Lissa Sia is. Her defining ability is Animal Friend. Unit recovers up to 20% of max HP at the start of each turn when adjacent to a cavalry or flying ally. That's something that I didn't pay much attention to, so she generally ended up healing herself pretty well. From her parameters, she's similar to Lissa Sia as well, but she's a bit stronger. She does learn Lance, but she's not very good at it in my opinion. I ended up having her focus on white magic, and I basically had her as my designated white mage for a long time, and then had to remind myself that I had to get her riding skill up because I was focusing on getting her to be a holy knight. So cavalry class mobility, but with magic and magic attacks and white healing magic. That was important to me. She does learn Lance, but she was never that good for it with me, but that's because I focused more on magic with her and not Lance. Although given her strength, she's probably not going to be one that does a lot of damage with the lance anyway.
Hilda はゴネリル公の一人娘でね。だいぶ親父と兄さんに甘やかされて育ったらしい。あれほど怠惰って言葉が似合うやつもいない。まあ、貴族のお嬢様なんてそんなもんかもな。
Hilda starts off working on axe, and she's decently enough with a lance. She's not very good at authority or magic, which makes sense. She's lazy, she doesn't really want to take charge of things and all. She prefers to have other people do that. Defining ability Advocate. Adjacent male allies deal 3 extra damage during combat. Personally, I had her focus on the axe, and then I noticed she had a hidden talent for heavy armor, which originally started as a weakness of hers, or at least it was listed as one. And then I had her become a heavy armored axe wielder. She was pretty good. She wasn't amazing because I believe it was part of her class as a heavy axe wielder that she couldn't move as far as other classes could, so she mostly lagged behind the other units, but she was good to keep around in one spot and be the one to fight off enemies that were getting to that part where you kept her. She's good. It's just... I don't know, I ended up using her less and less, and he was mostly just dragging along in the back because in the last few battles in the Golden Deer route, I had to go to the other end of the map, and she just wasn't very good at getting there very soon.
レオニーは傭兵になりたくて入学したんだ。父親は漁師をやってるって言ってたかな。サバサバしてるがケチケチもしてる。村に借金があるとかで節約を趣味にしてるんだ。
Defining ability Rivalry. If a male ally is adjacent, unit deals 2 extra damage and takes 2 less damage during combat. Her strength is in bow, lance, and riding. I personally had her focus on lance and riding as it went on, and eventually just threw her onto Pegasus, so she was focusing on flying instead of riding. Her parameters are okay. Personally, I have to say I didn't really like her much. I didn't like her as a character, and even in terms of her strength as a flying knight, as a Pegasus knight, it was okay. It was there to deal some damage. She could take some damage as well, but not a whole lot. So, for the most part, she was there and around when battles were going on. Sometimes I had her not deployed and had someone else out, so maybe she can be better if you do better with her skills, but as a first-time Fire Emblem player and going blind into this type of game, she was okay. And even on the lower end of okay. So those were the Golden Deer characters, and like I said, I already did the Golden Deer route in my first playthrough, so I am not going to be going for the Golden Deer this time around. Not gonna say yet which one I'm gonna go for. It's either blue or red, of course.
先日はすまなかった。世話になっておいてろくに名乗りもせず散々無礼を。この学校の教師になると聞いた。もう存在な口は聞けないな。改めてディミトリ・アレクサンドル・ブレーダットと言います。ファーガス神聖王国の王子ですが、ここではあくまで一人の生徒です。
Okay, there was a major problem here. There's a mistake here. His text doesn't follow what he's saying. The text has him introduce himself early and then talk about here you're going to become a teacher. The voice clip said that he's going to be becoming a teacher and looking forward to Byleth guiding him, or Tyrell I should probably say, and then introduced himself. I don't know if this was a mistake when the game was translated, or if it's a mistake with the voice clips being used from the Japanese version and the translation switched things around. I'm not sure. It's a minor thing, it's just something that you hear.
未熟者ではありますが、ご指導よろしくお願いします、先生。そうだ、学級を見て回っているそうですね。ルーベンクラッセに気になるものはいましたか？
So let's look at the blue lines, and yes, this episode is going to run long because we are going to be introduced to all of the students.
私ですか？すみません。難しいですね。自分のことを話すのは。愉快な身の上話などもできませんし。まあ、そういう人間だと思ってもらえれば。
So, defining ability Royal Lineage multiplies experience earned by 1.2. Like I said, same ability effect on all three of the house leaders, it just changes what it's actually called. So you see here he's good with physical but not axes, and he sucks at black magic. Authority makes sense, you know, the house leaders, they have to, you know, they're raised to eventually take over each territory, so all makes sense. When you do face him in battle, though, he mostly focuses on lance, and yeah, my experience with the other house students isn't that big because only one playthrough, and I only managed to recruit one student from a different house to join my class, so can't really say how these people are in terms of actually working on improving their skills, just how they are as enemies, which is overall ranges from okay to not that amazing to oh my god, I do not want you to touch me, go away, I need to kill you right now.
No. ドゥルはダスカー地方の生まれで4年前から私の従者を務めてくれています。寡黙ではありますが、話してみれば温和で気のいい青年だとわかるはずです。
So, looking at Dedu, Staunch Shield, if unit takes no action except wait, so it doesn't even move, grants death +4 for 1 turn. So, he's a physical fighter, he's good with lances and axes, but he's bad with magic. I guess with that I would call him sort of the less talkative version of Raphael. Which, fair enough, I've seen him fighting, it was okay. I think when I had to fight him as an enemy, it took me a few rounds or a few units to get him down.
フェリクスはフラルダリウス公の着手です。少しばかり口は悪いですが、いいやつですよ。あいつは昔から腕の立つものが好きで、先生も一度手合わせしてみてはどうです？
Felix, defining ability Lone Wolf. Unit deals 5 extra damage when no battalion is assigned or when battalion endurance is 0. So, while it sometimes is a good idea to put a battalion... let me switch those PB sounds around. It might be a good idea to put a battalion onto several units. With his ability, it's clear that you don't put a battalion onto him just because you want him to deal more damage. As an enemy, I saw him focusing on the sword, and I can tell you this guy is horrendous as an enemy fighting you with the sword. He was one of those that I would list as the oh my god, stay away from me, I need to kill you right now enemies. Not good at magic or authority, again as a lone wolf, that makes sense.
彼はガスパール城主であるロナート教の養子で、元は平民の出だと聞いています。生真面目な性格ですから、講義にも熱意を持って臨んでくれるのではないでしょうか。
Defining ability Lockpick allows the unit to open doors and chests without keys. This is a really good ability, and when I did my first playthrough and I was doing this whole thing, reading up on all the students, I admit I was wondering if I should go for blue line simply because of that lockpick ability, but I rather spontaneously decided to go for Golden Deer. So, I don't know how good this, how amazing this ability is, although thinking back to some of the late game battles in the Golden Deer route, that ability would probably be really helpful to have. His strengths are in axe and bow, but he's backed with magic. As an enemy, I saw him focusing on bow. He was pretty good, not amazing. I would put him on par with, say, Lawrence in terms of overall strength in his class.
ゴーティエ家の嫡子であるシルヴァンは仲間思いで頼れる兄貴分です。ただ昔から本当に女癖が悪くて、これでも一応毎日のように言って聞かせているのですが。
Sylvain is the one character that I was able to recruit from a different house to join my class, and that's simply because I was playing as female Byleth. So if you play the Golden Deer or the Black Eagle route, and you talk to Sylvain as female Byleth, he will always agree to change to your class because Byleth has boobs and you will obey them. Defining ability Philanderer. If a female ally is adjacent, the unit deals 2 extra damage and takes 2 less damage during combat. As I said, I ended up not paying much attention to the defining abilities of my units after a while, and now that I think about it, since I had Sylvain there, I probably should have made sure to keep him and Hilda next to each other, because if she has a guy next to her, they end up dealing more damage and taking less. If he has a woman next to him, he deals more damage and takes less. That sounds like a really good idea. I kinda wish I had paid more attention to the defining abilities now. But hey. Bad with bows, good with lance and riding and axes. When I had him recruited, I ended up having him focus on lance and riding, and he was, I believe, a paladin class by the end of the game for me. He was pretty good in terms of being a lancer. I would put him on par with Lawrence because, as I said, lances don't seem to do that well against axe wielders, and I ended up meeting a lot of axe wielders in the end of the Golden Deer route. So I have to say he's good. Not amazing, but I do like him as a character. He's kind of funny.
彼女はもともと帝国貴族の出身だそうですが、紆余曲折を経て王国で暮らしていたとか。のんびりしているように見えますが、皆によく目を配ってくれる優しい女性です。
She's listed as a commoner, although he just said that she actually was born to nobility. Well, I guess maybe she doesn't count as nobility because she wasn't born to Fergus nobility. Defining ability Live to Serve. When healing an ally with white magic, unit recovers the same amount of HP. That sounds really good. Because this is what I noticed when I played through the Golden Deer route. I ended up having 2 white mages, and Marianne did, single target healing. And then I had one skill that was called Fortify, which I somehow didn't manage to get on Marianne. And that was a group heal, but it didn't heal the person doing the healing, which I always found a bit unfortunate. When I do group healing, I want to heal everyone, including the healer themselves. So from her parameters and her strengths and weaknesses, you can see she is a mage, pure and through. Pure and simple? Through and through. As you can see, not good with physical stuff at all. As an enemy, she was focused on faith. She could deal quite a bit of damage there. So, I guess I would put her similar to Lissa Sia then in terms of strengths and how she might do as an enemy or even as your own ally.
ドミニク男爵の姪御であるアネットは魔導学院で優秀な成績を収めた才媛ですね。明るい努力家ですが少し抜けていて、昨晩も厨房で爆発騒ぎを起こしたとか。
Annette. Defining ability Perseverance. Use a rally to grant strength +4 to an ally. I'll be quite honest about Annette. She is so forgettable. I played the Golden Deer route. I don't even remember fighting Annette. I mean, she might be there in an early mock battle, but later on... Either she wasn't there or she was there and I killed her so fast that I don't even remember. Bit unfortunate. Her strength has authority, axe, and black magic. That is interesting. So maybe she'll be a good black mage if you focus on that for her. Like I said, I really can't say anything about her. I almost forget that she exists. And her defining ability isn't that great. I had Raphael have that sort of combat art after a while, and he was able to use that just fine. I have no opinion on Annette.
イングリッドはガラテア伯の息女で、私やフェリクス、シルヴァンとは幼馴染です。貧困法制、真面目で勤勉、下手な騎士よりも騎士然とした女性だと私は思っています。
Ingrid, defining ability Lady Knight, grants might +3 and hit +5 with gambits. Gambits are what you use in terms of attacking with the battalion when you have one assigned to her. So you have a character in the Blue Lion's house where you don't want them to have any battalion, Felix, and one where you definitely want a battalion on them, which is Ingrid here. She doesn't have any listed weaknesses, which is a bit surprising to me. So she's good at the riding and flying class and sword and lance, which, if she's supposed to be very knightly and stuff like that, makes sense. As an enemy, she was a flying class using the lance. She was pretty deadly. So she seems to be a terrifying enemy. Maybe she's an amazing ally. So, back we go to... Oh, so many kitties. Yeah. Edelgard was over here. Edelgard, let's talk about your classmates.
この修道院の教師に帝国で雇おうと思っていたのに残念では改めて名乗らせてもらおうかしら。私はエーデルガルト・フォン・フレスベルグ。
I believe Hresvelg was the name of a mythological creature that was akin to a flesh eater. At least that's what I remember, but I could be wrong.
アドラステア帝国の皇女であり、第1位の皇位継承者よ。あなたが私たちの学級を受け持つなんてこともあるのかしら。そういえば学級の方は見て回った？アドラークラッセで気になる生徒がいたら教えて。私は見ての通りよ。不遜に感じるかもしれないけれど、これでも次の工程。あとは、そうね。なんとなく、あなたとは馬が合う気がするわ。
You also have no personality or information or opinion on anything yourself? If so, that is very, very accurate. Defining ability Imperial Lineage multiplies experience earned by 1.2. Her strength is in physical stuff and heavy armor. She's not that good with bows and white magic. As an enemy, she was focused on using the axe, and I believe she also had black magic. She was an okay enemy. I always found her to be a bit of a joke when I attacked her after a while. Mostly, though, I think that's because I tended to attack her with Lissa Sia. And as I said, Lissa Sia focused on black magic with black magic range +2. It is so awesome. Edelgard and anybody else had no chance against that.
彼は私の従者でレストラ校の着士。 幼い頃からずっと私に仕えているの。冷徹な印象を受けるでしょうけれど、内面もそうだから。でも筋の通った男よ。
Defining ability offers a duty grants might +5 with Gambit, so he is one of those characters that you do want to put a battalion on him. Strength, black magic, weakness, white magic. As an enemy I saw him using black magic mostly. I don't remember if he used battalions. He might have, but for the most part he used black magic and he was pretty good with that. Even his parameters indicate that magic is the better way to go with him.
なぜか私を目の敵にして常に勝負を挑んでくるのよね。まったく。彼の家は宰相を世襲するエーギル公爵家。貴族としての自覚がありすぎるのでしょう。
Ferdinand, akin to Ingrid, doesn't seem to have any weaknesses. His strength is in physical stuff and riding. Defining ability confidence grants hit and avoidance +15 when unit is at full HP. Well, I guess with that plus of an avoidance, it would be easy to keep him at full HP and then you just keep having that with him. Sounds pretty good. I do recall him as an enemy, but not very well. I believe he was either a lancer or he was a riding lance fighter. Not too amazing, sort of the equivalent to Lawrence, I suppose, minus the black magic that he can do.
頭のいい人よ、彼は。けれど、極度の面倒くさがりで、いつも眠そうにしている。彼が真面目であれば、将来は帝国の政務を担う人材になったでしょうに。無理そうね。
Lindhard, defining ability Catnap. If unit takes no action except wait, not even moving, recovers up to 10% of max HP. Strength in black and white magic, bad in physical stuff. So he's probably akin to Lissa Sia in terms of what you can do with him, or at least what you can do well with him, I suppose. As an enemy, I believe he focused on white magic and he spent more time healing his allies than actually attacking, I think.
彼はベルグリーズ伯の次男ね。継承権がないから身一つで頑張ろうとしているみたい。元気すぎてとにかく喧嘩っ早いから、もし担任になったら目を離さないで。
Defining ability Born Fighter. Adjacent foes suffer avoidance -10 during combat. His strength is Brawl and Axe, and he's bad with Authority, Magic, and Bow. As an enemy, despite apparently focusing on Brawl early on, he seemed to focus solely on Axe later on, which I cannot say if he was amazing or horrible as an enemy wielding the axe. He was there, and I defeated him rather easily. That's all I can say.
彼女はバーリ伯の一人娘よ。少し変わっているけれど、根は悪い子ではないわ。ただ、寮に引きこもると宣言してはばからず。心配しないで。講義には出させるから。
Defining ability Persecution Complex grants attack +5 when unit is not at full HP. So oddly enough, she is someone that you want to have damaged, but not too damaged so that she dies the next time she takes a hit. As an enemy, she was focused on Bow, and she wasn't very good at that, should say. When I fought her as an enemy, she was on one of the tiles that allowed archers to attack from very far with like a +3 to 12 increase in range for bows. So she was capable of doing damage to my units from afar before I could damage her. But when I did get one of my units to fight her face to face, she went down pretty fast. I believe one turn or maybe even just one attack. So, she's a glass cannon, it seems. Also, her name is Bernadetta, and I always want to call her Bernadette.
アドラークラッセは他の学級に比べて平民の数が少ないの。彼女はその中でも異例の人ね。何しろ帝都で人気の歌劇団が誇る歌姫。士官学校に入った目的は私も知らないわ。
Defining ability Songstress. Adjacent allies recover up to 10% of max HP at the start of each turn. Oh, cool. I believe I recruited her for 1 month worth of missions and then I barely used her. I was just playing around with the month-long recruit feature. But that sounds pretty good. Her strength is in sword and black magic. As an enemy, I saw her focusing on black magic and she was pretty strong there. Not as amazing as Lissa Sia, but I don't think many things can be as awesome as Lissa Sia.
フォドラの西の海に浮かぶブリギット諸島。その王の孫娘よ、ペトラは。ブリギットは帝国に従属していて、その縁で彼女は留学に来ているの。勉強熱心な人よ。
So she's listed as a commoner when she is a noble in her own country. I see. Hunter's Boon grants critical plus 20 when foe's HP is at or below 50%. Her strength is in physical stuff, flying and bow, so that's quite interesting. Her weakness is magic, maybe because it's written in Fodlan and she's not that good with that language, I'm not sure. As an enemy, she was focused on the sword, and she was pretty good. She wasn't as, oh my god, I want to get you away from me and kill you as soon as possible, as Felix was, but she was still a force to be reckoned with. You just had to make sure to get her down fast.
あなたの働きに感謝します。
You are responsible for choosing which house to lead. If there are still students you have yet to speak with, try visiting each house's homeroom. Well, I have already talked with all of the students. I suppose I should return to Rhea. Return to the audience chamber. I don't think there's anything you can really explore and find out at this point. You are very limited to where you can go so far.
士官学校の様子はいかがでしたか？清廉な魂の息吹に満ちていたでしょう。
さて、君には士官学校の3学級のうち一つを受け持ってもらうことになる。君のような素性のわからぬ若者に任せるのは反対だが、大司教たっての希望でね。
Oh, you're just still angry that I let you die in my first playthrough.
アドラークラッセ、ルーベンクラッセ、そしてヒルシュクラッセ。もう見て回ったわよね。
新任の君から選んでくれて構わんよ。残る2つの学級を我々がそれぞれ受け持とう。
Which house will I choose? Well, the thumbnail for this Let's Play is probably going to already indicate which house I'm going for, so if you study the thumbnail you probably already know at this point. But I'm going to go for the Blue Lions.
ディミトリが級長を務めるルーベンクラッセですね。心は決まりましたか？彼らを真摯に導いてくれることを願います。
フォドラの未来を担う有望な若者ばかりだ。この栄誉ある職務を誇りとして
お兄様。あら、ごめんなさい。お話の最中でしたのね。
フレン、今取り込み中だ。急ぎの用事か？
いいえ、大したことではありませんわ。それよりも、そちらの方は？
この者は士官学校の新任教師だ。
ああ、士官学校の。はじめまして、先生。私、セテスの妹のフレンと申します。お見知りおきを。
フレンの話はさておき、本題に戻ろう。近日、現時点での生徒たちの実力を測るため、学級対抗の模擬戦を行う予定だ。同時に、君の能力も見定めさせてもらう。大司教を失望させぬようにな。以上だ。
I'm sorry, I kind of have to chuckle at that. As Rei Himuro in Tokimeki Memorial Girls' Side, he ended his lines a lot with "Ijo." That's all.
新しい先生ってまさか。私友達みたいに話しかけちゃって。同い年くらいに見えたからつい。すみません、気をつけます。
I don't mind if you treat me as a friend.
そんなこと言われても。
こちらの気がすみません。
You can respect me when I have proven that I earn your respect.
先生が言うんだしいいんじゃないですか。つーか、それを言ったらですよ、殿下。そもそも俺たちがあんたにこんな口を聞いてるのだって不敬もいいとこでしょ。
いや、ここは王国ではないんだし、それとこれとはまた別の話で。だがまあ、先生がそれでいいならありがたくその行為に甘えるとしようか。
ですが私には染みついた癖というのはどうにも。
You can call me whatever you want. I don't mind either way.
難しいなら無理することないわよ。ね、先生もそれでいいでしょ。
そういえば先ほどお前に言ったな。剣を交える日を楽しみにしていると。
As long as it's early on.
後で訓練場に来い。まずはお前の腕を見せてもらいたい。
抜け駆けとは感心しないな、フェリクス。その試合、ぜひ俺も混ぜてくれ。
後学のため僕も見学させていただきたいんですが。
アッシュ、見るだけと言わずお前も加わればいいだろう。
怪我した時は私に言ってね。ちょっと
殿下、あまりハメを外されすぎぬよ。
お前は心配性だな、ドゥドゥ。大丈夫、自重はするさ。
まあ親睦を深めるのに剣を交えるってなんか根本的に間違ってると思うんだけど。
Honestly, it sounds like a very manly thing to do. Swinging phallic objects at each other to get to know each other better. Then again, maybe I'm reading too much into that.
あら、そうかしら。そういうことならあなただけ教室で留守番してる？
イングリッド、お前さ、本当俺に対して手厳しいよな。
先生、ルーベンクラッセは見ての通りの騒がしい学級だ。いろいろと苦労をかけるかもしれないが、これから1年よろしく頼む。